Ladies and gentlemen, in this Red Gaming Titcom video, let us take a look at the end of year sale. It is, of course, the 31st of December, and Steam Christmas sale, or holiday sale as they're referring it to, is still in full swing, and we've got some really good games available today. So we're going to kick things off with one of my favourite titles on today's bundle, Mark of the Ninja. This is 80% off, which is an insanely good price. It's $2.99. There's no demo of this available, but I have covered this previously on the channel, so you can check it out. I absolutely love this game, and if you're just looking for a short answer with no explanation, just buy the game now. It's really good. The basic premise is it's a 2D stealth game, but it works extraordinarily well because the controls are just so bloody tight. It's like when you're climbing up ledges and so on, you don't ever feel like you're battling with the controls. The character just does what you expect them to do, and it has a hell of a lot of depth to it. You can either go pretty much the brutality way and just kill everything, or you can go very stealthily and sneaky. You can use smoke bombs to stab through enemies, and it has a very artistic styling to it. As I said, check out the first impressions video if you want further evidence, but honestly, this is one of my favourite titles on this deal. It's really good. Next one is Magic 2014 Duel of the Planeswalkers. This is 66% off, which means you're going to be paying $3.39. There be a demo for this, me hearties, so I'd recommend you check it out. I don't personally usually play card games, although I have actually been given a beta key for the latest Hearthstone. So, Marta is obviously covering it on the channel, but I personally haven't tried this game out. I'd recommend that, do a little bit of research if you're into card games in general. It's certainly not a bad price of admission, $3.39. There's a demo available, as I said, and obviously there is tons of DLC available for this game. Some of it is on special offer, but some of it is also not. Next game, Xcom Enemy Unknown. There's also a demo available for this as well. It's 75% off, or $9.99. So obviously this is a sequel to the Xcom series, which is pretty damn infamous in the gaming circles. I have done a first impressions of this game, and there is a demo available as well if you want more evidence of it, or more hands-on experience of it. It's pretty simple. Storyline's pretty good actually, and expansion has just about been released as well. That is, of course, Xcom Enemy Within, and it's scoring pretty damn well. That's also available for 50% off, or $14.99. But just to reiterate, Xcom Enemy Unknown is a turn-based strategy game. It wasn't necessarily my thing, but I'm kind of finicky with my strategy, although it was a really good game. So yeah, you can check it out. I would recommend it if you're interested in a turn-based strategy or a good storyline. Next up is Castlevania Lords of Shadows. Later on today I will have a gameplay video of this available, because I actually just recently bought this myself. It's available for 66% off, which means it's just a little over $10, and you get some actual DLC with that as well, which is a pretty damn good deal from Konami, if I'm perfectly honest. There's a demo available, but if you want some more hands-on footage, you can just wait and check out my first impressions. It'd probably be turned into a let's play as well, to be honest with you. So basic premise, of course, is it follows the traditional Castlevania storyline. It's actually really good. It's not exactly Castlevania gameplay, which is one of the reasons it's been criticized. It's kind of a bit more DLC. I actually found myself really struggling the first 30 minutes or so into the game. I'll just be totally honest. The reason is because I was treating it a lot more like the old Castlevanias in terms of 3D, in terms of how they used to combat, how the combat works and so on. And it doesn't really work like that. In actuality, it's a lot more. It's a cross between DMC and the traditional Castlevania formula. It's pretty good voice acting. It's not going to win any storyline story-wise, but it's still fairly tightly written. Graphics are quite nice. It has a fair oddity, actually, on PC. I noticed that it barely uses anything in terms of threads. It typically just seems to really push towards everything towards one single core, although it is somewhat multi-core focused. It does basically use multi-core, but it really seems to heap everything onto the core 1, which is fairly odd, but there you have it. Next up, early access, Planetary Annihilation. So you're not going to be saving a huge amount, but still, $40, that's 33% saving. So, what is... This game is very much like the spiritual successor to, I suppose you could say, Total Annihilation. Now, obviously, this title is set in space, and it looks pretty awesome. It isn't one of those titles I've personally played, so maybe you should check out some gameplay videos. But if you're interested in Total Annihilation, or maybe Supreme Commander as well, which obviously this game is somewhat reminiscent of, to say the least, then you're certainly not going to be having a bad experience with this. It scores fairly well, Metacritic-wise. I haven't personally tried it yet. It looks really good, and just looking at some gameplay videos myself and some commentary, it actually makes me really excited because I was quite a big fan of Supreme Commander, particularly the first one. Next one we're going to be discussing is Scribblenauts Unmasked. So this is $15.99. So it's a DC comic adventure. Honestly, haven't tried it out myself. Reviews are fairly mixed. Scores between 60 and 70%. Possibly if you're a big fan of Scribblenauts, or you are into these cutesy type of DC games, you might like it. Personally, not really my thing. I don't really like the Lego or Scribblenauts, that type of style. It generally doesn't really sit well with me, which is why I don't typically pick it up. It's just simply because I just think to myself, you know what, I'm not really going to enjoy it, so what's the point? You know, in reviewing something you're not going to enjoy, because it's just going to be biased. I suggest you maybe do a little bit of research yourself, see what you think. Not really one for me. Next up, Grid 2. So there's a demo of this available, 75% off, $12.49. I do love saying demo available, I really do. On the Steam platform, it's just excellent. Anyway, Grid 2 is pretty much the de facto racing game for the PC right now. I may also add, it also works really good for a test machine, a test bed for like new graphics cards and so on, because it's really graphically intensive, particularly with higher settings. It scores fairly well. Typically, I'm not into racing games myself, but it does score fairly well. If you're interested in a racing game for the PC, this is certainly going to have to be on the top list. It, as I said, scores pretty damn well, and honestly, why the heck not? Next is Company of Heroes 2, 66% off this one, which is $13.59. There's also a Collector's Edition and Collector's Edition Upgrade available, both of which are 66% off, as well as various pieces of DLC, but only the Case Blue mission pack is on offer. All the others, standard pricing, my good sir. So you're going to be coughing up basically $10, for example, for Victory in Stalingrad mission pack. So, what is Company of Heroes? Well, it is an RTS, and to say the original Company of Heroes was legendary is an understatement. The original Company of Heroes was pretty much phenomenal. It honestly was. Many people said that it actually took the formula that games like, say, Command & Conquer was running with for a long time, and then it basically just said, you know what, we're going to just ramp this up to an entire new level. It was just massive. It was such a huge upgrade. And Company of Heroes 2, it doesn't revolutionize the formula, yeah? It's not like it's like this incredible evolution to strategy, but it is a pretty solid game. It looks fairly beautiful as well. So if you're one of those gamers that are looking for a good strategy game, it is set in World War II. Now, I say that not because I have anything against World War II strategy games, but simply because some people are getting to the point where it's like, oh, not another World War II strategy. This game does it really well. So Relic did a really good job with this title. So if you're interested in a strategy and you've not really had your fill quite yet anyway with RTS, then of World War II, then I suggest you pick this title up. It scores very well. Finally, Half-Life 2. Just buy the game, okay? If you don't have it at this point and you're a PC gamer and you don't own the game, just stop the video, go to Steam, buy the game, and then thank me for just an awesome gaming experience. Right, but actually, on a serious note, if you don't own it, you've got some problems, because here's the options. You could buy the original Half-Life 2, just standard, bog standard game, $2.49. That's 75% off. The orange box is $9.99. That's 50% off, and that gives you Half-Life 2, Episode 1, Episode 2, and Team Fortress 2, as well as Portal. Honestly, it's a pretty good deal. Now, the Half-Life Complete is when it starts to get a little bit tasty. This includes Team Fortress Classic, Half-Life Opposing Force, Half-Life, Half-Life Blue Shift, Half-Life 2, Half-Life Source, Half-Life 2 Deathmatch, Half-Life 2 Lost Coast, Episode 1, and Half-Life 2 Episode 2. Right, here's the deal. Half-Life Source, don't worry about that. That's, like, forget it. You might as well just play Black Mesa, as the team has, doing a pretty good job. Lost Coast is decent. It's not that long. It's maybe about an hour-ish. That's from memory. It's certainly not much longer than an hour. Maybe 2 if you're literally doing every single thing possible. Half-Life Episode 1 and Episode 2 are pretty damn good, but then when you complete Episode 2, you're going to cry, because pretty much we're waiting for the sequel, and Valve haven't released anything yet. We don't know when that's coming out. Another option is you could indeed pick up the Complete Pack. That's 50% off, and that's going to cost you $49.99. I'm not going to read out all the games that gives, because I'll be here until next Christmas. Another option is you could pick up Episode 1 and Episode 2. Now, each of those are $1.99. Now, here's the thing, right? And there's always a thing. It's really tricky to know which one you're going to go with, because if you're looking for the incomplete experience, in other words, to actually understand the story, and bear in mind that Half-Life 1, Black Mesa doesn't include like the Blue Shift, which does fill out some of the storyline, as well as Opposing Force. You're probably better just to pick up Half-Life Complete, use Black Mesa to understand the basic storyline of Half-Life 1, and then obviously play Blue Shift and so on. Deathmatch, who gives a crap? I don't think anyone's really going to want to get into it now. But it's kind of tricky. I personally wouldn't just pick up Half-Life 2, though. I think that's actually the worst deal. It's a good game. It's a very good game. But I'd personally pick up either the Complete, or I'd pick up the orange box. But once again, it's not even a question of whether you should pick it up. You should buy it. It's just which one do you want to buy. Finally, I'm going to really quickly run through the flash sales, because I've played a couple of these. First of all, Don't Starve, really good survival type of game. I've discussed this quite at length before. You should check it out. I've done a first impressions. The idea is basically you're stranded in the middle of woods. You don't really have that much in terms of resources, so you have to pretty much do everything, make fire and so on. But the difference is it has a very Tim Burton horror type of theme, and you really just don't want to be without fire and or a light source. L.A. Noire, I've covered it on the channel. Basic premise is that you are a cop and trying to solve a series of murders or / crimes. It's good. I just feel that they could have done slightly more with it. It's a very good game, though. I'm not saying it's bad. I would recommend checking it out. I just have problems more with the questioning side of things. I feel they could have done more with the interrogations, but still a very good game. And it's very interesting to see things from the other side rather than being the typical criminal flirting away from the law. Super Meat Boy. All I'm going to say is, if you're someone who suffers from anger issues, just don't buy it, because your PC and everyone around you will thank you. Seriously, this game is really fun, but it's not fair, right? And that's not just me saying it's not fair. It's really not fair. It's not meant to be fair. It's meant to be an extremely challenging game, and you will die. You will die a lot, and at times you will be thinking, why is this fun? Why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep doing this to myself? But it is good. For the price, it's well worth picking up if you're maybe a bit of a masochist. It is fun though, on a serious note, and I would recommend maybe doing this with a friend. So each of you taking it in turns and just watching each other's rage. It's the best way to feed the habit. I have absolutely no idea on King Arthur's Gold, so I'm not going to say either way. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. I'll see you soon. Take care, my friends. Bye for now.